file I'm sending. So they are not mine personally. So I need to give credits to those where I got it from, right? So you can always go through when I send it. So I will be using the I think I sent the summary, what is it for? MD summary. That's what we'll be using, right? So let's get started. Let me share my screen so we can all get started. So, all right. I believe in a few minutes time you should be able to see my screen. In a few minutes time. Okay. Confirm now. You can comment. You can make reaction. If you can see my screen, please confirm. All right. Thank you so much. So we're going to load our data. This was what we're doing before my battery went off on last Wednesday anyway. So I'm going to, I already explained this interface, like the ribbon. We have the three view here, reports, table, and the model view, right? You are going to see how it looks like. This is where your data will come up, this left side here. I mean the right hand side. That's where your data. These are the visualization pane, this is the filter pane, and this is the Canva. So let's try to import. I'll go to get data. Since our file is a CSV file, so I'll pick text/CSV. Then I'll go ahead and look for my data MD summary. All right. So it's going to load up on its own. Good. Today is very, very fast. So as you can see, this our the table view. You can load it directly into your Power BI or you can transform it. But if you look at all the headings here, everything looks correct, right? No name is misspelled. All the columns are well placed. So in this case, I wouldn't click on transform data because that will also add additional step towards. But it should, in case your data, you need to do some pre-processing, cleaning up. So you should open, when you click on this transform data, you're going to have, it's going to open up Power Query where you can do all those things, right? We'll get there soon. So I'll just click on the load. Uh, so I'm opening, it is loading. Let me share again. All right, so it's going to come up, still trying to create some connections. You can see evaluating, then waiting to create connection in model. If you are doing that, might be faster than mine. Power BI sometimes misbehave. Okay, so Power BI sometimes misbehave. It slows down, especially if you are using Mac. Using Mac system kind of slow. You have to do some pre-work before. Okay, yeah, I think it has loaded. Working on it. Let us finish all this processing. How many of us are actually working together as we are doing that? I don't know if. So that because if you have challenge, I'll be able to point out. All right, my data has loaded. If you can see my screen, you will notice that I have in the data pane, the MD summary data here, right? Now, you will notice that some data are actually just text column, some are dates, some are just a summation, right, of everything. We're going to see how to, we call this calculated field anyway, as it's a summary of all the data. So the first task I want to do here, I don't know how I can share two files at the same time. I'll drop it in the WhatsApp group now. I'll drop that in the WhatsApp group. So you can view what I'm doing. I wouldn't need to share two things at the same time. Download. Okay. It's coming up. All right, I've sent it to the file, so I wouldn't have to be opening it from my own hand. So what we'll be doing here is that we want to answer some questions. The data is about a country, right? And it's talking about a water challenge in a country. So we want to visualize and give meaning to all those things. If you open the file, some of the analysis we have done was done using SQL though. So we wanted to visualize it now. And the beginning of page 8, page 8 rather, is showing some explanation of the data set, right? Like hours, like percentage female and what each column means, right? And some of the information we derived using. So the first thing we want to illustrate the urban and the rural population split, right? In Majindogu, the country is actually and a fictitious name. It's not real, so it's just Majindogu there. If you have opened the file, you'll have seen what I want. So let's see what column is having such data. Want to visualize. Let me read the instruction again. Want to visualize the total of urban population and rural population, right? As a data analyst, you are solely in charge of which visualization to use, but they have helped us out in this. They said we should create a pie chart. So I will come here. First of all, let me drag what I want to create. So I will have, in my visualization pane, all the chart I want are there. So I'll just pick a pie chart, then drag it to my Canva, or I can also double click it as well. So once I double click, you see it has shown up in my Canva. Now let us now see which data am I going to plot in this chart. I'll go to my data pane. All right. So I'll pick column again. So I'll pick population, number of people. If you see number of people served, those are all everybody in that particular country called my. So I will drag this number of people served. I'll drag it to my values. You can see in the visualization pane, we have, let me even stop for. We have some wells we can drag our data is. We have the legend wells, we have the values wells, we have details, we have tooltips. As you keep using it, you get to know all this. So I'll drag it to my value wells. All right. So once you drag it, you will notice there's nothing showing up in my visualization. Now we need to find which column is holding the population, right? So I need to find that which column is that again? I'm coming. Province, not province. Let's see. Let me add province first. Kind of forgot. This will give me, okay, you can see the way it visualized, but this is not what I want. I need to get that particular column that is holding that. You can see how it visualized, but what we want to do is actually rural
Sir,
and
sir, excuse me,
yeah,
sir.
go ahead, please.
Sir, are we using the question in the PDF you sent to us?
Yes, that's what I'm using. Exactly. That's
Okay,
what I'm using.
this thing that they use is location type
Thank you so
for
much.
the.
Location type.
Okay, sir.
All right. So I will remove that in the details and then go to location type. That's why you can see understanding of the data. Actually, I've worked with data before, but understanding of the data is very, very, very important before you start visualizing. So you can see we have 22 million, about out of 22 million people, or out of the whole people, 22 million is from the urban, and 49 million is from the rural. But this is not correct actually, because we did not use the data for doing our SQL anyway. But doing our analysis in SQL part, we noticed that there are some sites where they got the data that were repeated in a day, right? So you have to filter. If you see that chart, that note, you will notice that it is 10 million, right, for the urban, and it is 80 million for the rural. That's because here they have removed repetition, but in our own we have not removed repetition. So how do we now remove repetition in our? So that's where we go to our filter pane. The filter pane is this part, the pane before the visualization. So I'll come to add filter. Where is it again? So I'll go to add filter here. In this add filters, I'll go to add fields. Once I check on this, I don't want it to do anything for me. All right. Let me click on add. Oh, let's remove this file. Okay, let me drag visit count here since it's now. If I drag visit count and I drag it to add filter, you can see the way I'm dragging it. So I'm dragging the calculated ones here. So in this case here, I want only where people visited once. So I'll just come here and say is one, right? So once I click on apply, notice that it has also changed. So we have filtered where only people visit, where the person collecting the data visited the site just once, because the person was repeating due to some discrepancies in the data. So that was why the person was repeating and keep getting repeated data. So this is our visualization here. We've gotten our pie chart, so you can readjust and just make it like this. Now let's go to the next instruction. So the next instruction says we should create a bar column that shows the total population, right, using various sources of water, right? Okay, I think we are told to use the sum of number of people served, and so I will create a bar chart. I'll select a bar chart here. I'll put, I prefer to use a clustered column charts, right? So I can drag it to the side. Now, we want to use which column? We want to use sum of number of people served, right? Number of people served. Where is it again? Number of people served. Okay, so I'll drag it to the x-axis. Sorry, that should be in the y-axis since you want to tabulate it against the number of people served. So drag number of people served to the y-axis, right? Then the next thing we should use what's it called? Type of water source. So I'm going to look for type of water source column there, right? So then drag it on our x-axis. So as you can see, we have our data here. So those people who use shared tap, we've seen them. Those people who use well, we've seen. Those people who use tap in home, tap in broken homes, and river, we've seen how it is plotted. However, um, shared taps actually have the most people using, right? So that is just that. So what is now the advantage of this over Power BI? What is the advantage of, sorry, what is the advantage of this over Excel rather? So can many of you will say, wow, we can do this, we can do this with Excel. Definitely we can do this with Excel. Yes. Let's try to filter. I want to check people in the urban area, how they use the type of water source. So if I click on urban, let me click on urban. So take note of this, that the data in the type of water source went down, right? So we can see that there are about, in the urban area, in those people that use share tabs are about 296 something, so 98 something, compared to, let's now check for rural. You can see those that use rural are much more than those that use what's it called, share tabs in rural are much more than those that use share tabs in urban. I want to believe that is clear. So that is one advantage of using Power BI over Excel. Can we proceed? Okay. You can't see my screen. So that's why I say you should, sometimes it's better we talk on time. I'm not reading message immediately as I'm talking. I was not reading message. So let me see what I can do to that. I don't know why. You can see
We
it
can
now.
see it, sir. We can see
Okay.
it. Yes, sir.
You can see it,
Okay.
sir. You can see it, sir.
So all right. So let's now move on. As you can see, we've got that sorted.
Thank you.
So I'm on page. I'm on page 11 now. So let's try to just skip some steps and move on. Okay, now what we'll do next is we want to download. If you there's a link to um, download the next provinces, right? There is a link there. You can, it's a JSON file. You can download it. Right. I have my own already, so I'll just continue using that. So the notes before, all the explanation are just what I've said. So I'm going to upload MD provinces.json now. So to do that, I'll go to get data, right? Then I'll select, look for JSON file. Let me click on more. When I click on more, I'll select JSON from here. So connect to JSON. Then I'll go and select the file I want. Let me see, it should be in my download. It should be in DSALX dataset. Oh, I can't find it here. Really? All right, let me just re-download. Probably I've deleted it. So I'll just re-download that now. Good. So let me go and reselect my data now. So it should be my download this thing. Download. All right. So it's loading now. Open it up. We can connect more than one file, more than one data source in our Power BI. We can even connect it to a database whereby our data can be coming up directly from this thing.
Okay.
Yes, go ahead. All right, Shane. So let me just I'll close this, close and apply. So takes a while actually to create connection, and so I think it has loaded. So I have my MD provinces uploaded already. I don't know, some data is are not correct here. Okay, what file are you downloading? It's there in the, if you go to page, what's it called? Is this file here? Just a minute. If you go to the page, instead of download the what's it called? The page 13, MD provinces dot map dot JSON rather, and the MD map dot JSON. Download the two. So we want to actually get a map of that fiction country we're talking about, then plot a chart about it, right? So page 13, that's where I am. So please, you can also read through the instruction as I'm explaining so that you will be with me. So let's proceed. So we want to add the map. So what I'll do is, I should actually remove this. I don't need it here anyway. Let me delete it from my model. Many people will be looking, what is the model there? Where is the model coming from? If you go to my model view at the leftmost side, so as you can see, is we have just one data here, MD summary. It's not creating any connection because it's just one table that we have. Yeah, so that's where the model. So I'll go back to my report view now. Right. So now I want to plot the chart of that particular country. So to do that, let's add let's do map. Go to visuals, select custom map. That's my custom map. Let's see. Is it not bringing it up? Just a minute. I don't know why it's not bringing it up. I don't want to use this generic map. The map of that country we are using is not there. You can't find it. Power BI can automatically detect what we are doing. Okay, let's see what we'll do to navigate, select map setting. Okay, let's follow this first. So on page 14, the last page, the last what's it called? Last page there, or the column, whatever. So go to visualization page, right? This is the visualization page. So I'll go to settings. Ask me to add data. Wow. I don't know why it's only in this way. I need to add custom map first, and I can't find custom map. If you find it in yours, you can just add. It should be here. I need to do some settings. Your visual. Let me delete this first. Okay. Let me add any map. can use them. So let me add this kind of map first, then go to settings. Let me add two data. Probably that will make it do what I want. I will add type of water source to the column, and I will add province. Right. So let me add province name. Let me go province name to the. I will add it to the location. Right. Then I will add type of water source to the legend. Type of water source. Where is it again? Okay. Now, Power BI won't detect the type of. I told you it is not an approved. It's not stable. It's not an approved. It's not an approved visual. So, wow. I don't know. Has any one of you seen shape map from your this thing? Can't find it in my. I don't know. I've used it several times. Okay, we might need to do that so that I can summarize. I can move on to because I don't know what is actually wrong here. I can't see it here. Let's move on to other things so that I can be able to see what is wrong later on. But if you see the notes, this is what we want to add. And you can only be done using shape map, right? Let's see. Let's go ahead and create another visualization since we can create that map for now. So the next thing is I want to find, right? Let's add a bar chart. I can find the average queue. I'm on page 17 now. A bar chart that will find the average queue of times, right? The average queue people use to fetch water. So let's do that. So what columns do you think we can plot that? And what type of charts do you think we can use? Let's drop a message. What files are we to download? I think I've answered that. What I say? To plot, I need to read the question again. On page 17, we want to find the average number of time people use in a queue, all right, using visualization. So what type of chart do you think is best to do that? Let me remove this. It's not working. We are going to use line chart. If we want to do such, is line chart that is better. So now the average number of time people used on queue. So first of all, let's move to, we have a column that is handling that. So we have the time in queue summary. I will drag that to my y-axis because I want that to be plotted on y. And I want, so since if you look here at my y-axis, it's showing me sum of time. I can change that. If I click on this drop down, I will choose average here, right? So average time in queue, that one is settled that people use. So I will now select the number of people served and I'll put it on my x-axis. All right. This data is not really giving us what we want, actually. So let's see how we can rejig and get our data. If you look at it, we are plotting the file is on page 18. That is what we want to get. So the best thing is, okay, the way they solved it is that they used the average number of time per day. But what we are trying to plot was the average number of time people, the whole people use on a queue, right? So that is why we have this kind of information. So let's try to represent it as per day now. The average time people used per day. So I will remove this number of people in queue, then go and select the hour. That's the hour of day. So you can see the hour of day here. So drag it to your x-axis. Then we have that. We can now drag as many as we want. Now let's go back to that question and answer what they want us to do or what our goal is, the goal we are achieving. Hour of day, create a queue on one axis for the week. Okay, add a line chart to plot the average queue of time per day and add the days of the week as different colors. Okay, let's add the days of the week now. So we have another column that is days of the week. right? So I'll just drag it. In this case, I will not put it in my X, neither will I put it on my Y. I'll go and put it on my legend. So days of the week here. So as you can see, we have it here. So what does legend do? Legend is just like the way we have, legend in chat, and I just show the key. So instead of putting it whether on your either X or Y, you put it on the legend so that you can show all the whole data points here. Now, let's try to see in rural, on Sunday. Sunday should be day what? Sunday should be day hour of day. Okay. Since it is hour of days from up to 24 hours, by 12 o'clock, right? You want to see how many people are on the queue, average number of time people use on the queue by 12 o'clock. So by 12 o'clock, as you can see, on Friday is about 18.96, on Monday 14.93, on Thursday 16.34, right? The same way you can see that share tab also reduce, or let's say river, people at the river actually reduce a lot on Friday. Do you get what I'm saying? I don't know if you understand these charts or you don't understand. So that is that. So let's answer the first one. Add a bar chart to visualize the average time of queue on one axis and the day of the week on another axis. I'll drag this chart, minimize it. Actually, let's create this on another page. I'll copy this, right? Control X. Then I'll create a new page. Let me name it time in queue. Time in queue. QUEU. Good. So I'll paste that chart I copied first. I'll drag it to this side. Now, let's answer the first question. This is the second question we answer. How the bar chart to visualize the average time in queue on one axis and day of the week. So average time in queue per day. Average time in queue per day. So we should use a bar chart for that. So I'll choose a bar chart. Let me do that. So I can drag or I can double click on the bar chart I want. Right. So I'll select my time in queue and drag it to the y-axis since that's what I'm deleting. And I need to change this to average time in queue. Then what else? Per day, per day. So let's look for days of the week. Days of the week. Okay, then I'll put that on my x-axis. As you can see, queue happens to be so much on Saturday. You see, we have so much queue on Saturday compared to let's see. I would filter this Saturday. You can see the hours of the day. I don't know if you can see my screen. You can see from about um, very early in the morning. That's 6 p.m. 6 a.m. Right? That's when the queue starts, and the highest queue is around 18 hours. That's 18. That's around 7 p.m. Right? That's where most queue occur by filtering Saturday. So if I want to check on Sunday now, you can see this is Sunday, and we also have so much queue on Sunday, but most queue happens around 19 hours. 19 is about that's 15, 18, 19. That's about 7 o'clock, right? So that is that. If I double click outside like this, everything comes back to normal. Let me just delete this. All right. So that is for the first chart we are going to do. Now the third chart, I thought to create a chart that shows the average composition of queue per week. Right? Average composition of queue. Now, when we're talking about composition, you're talking about they are telling us that we should cluster our data, right? That we should cluster our data. Like, what are the percentage number of percentage females on queue, percentage male, and the percentage of children on queue. So let's get that started. So let's use bar chart to do that. So I'll select bar. Let me click out first. So select the bar chart to do that. I don't want this. I prefer to use a column bar chart. So we have percentage females, all right? We have percentage female percent. If you check your data thing, you will see percentage of child, percentage of. So what we should do is we should put all those three on our x-axis, percentage of child, and we can also add for female, percentage female, we can also add percentage male. Now for our y-axis, we need to check the total population of people, plot it on our y-axis. It's total population, number of people served as the column. So I'll put that on my y-axis, and boom.
Sir,
So,
sir, sorry to cut in, sir. Sir, you chose percentage child, percentage female, percentage male, but we know that in children we should have something common between male and female and the children.
Yes, thank you so much.
So are we going to pick the three or just pick male and female, which comprise of male
Well,
and female
in
and the
this
children?
in this type of this analysis here is trying to just represent, we are dealing with number of people that actually are on queue. Is it the man that is on queue, or the wife or the woman that is on queue, or is it the children that went to fetch water? Yeah, fine. We know that in this case there's some intersection between them. Child can be either male or female, right? I get what you are trying to say, isn't it? I guess it, but in this case, you want to just find you want to cluster, is it adults male or adults female, or children that are on the queue? Do you understand? But what we have in our chart is not giving us an information that is useful. We are not actually plotting the data correctly, right? And also, we are doing sum, so it should be average number of people, right? That's for correcting that one. I think we should plot. Let's plot those average number of people, child, and in a y, right? Let me remove that. Let me put percentage female on y, percentage male on y2, right? Then what else? And the average number of child on y, right? So I don't know if we have what we want. So per week, we are getting it per week. So that should be, since it is per week, we need the days of the week, or what information are they trying to get. Let's see that question again. That shows the composition of Q, right? Composition of Q per week. So that's days of the week. Days of the week. So I'll look for days of the week. Then I'll put it on my y on my x-axis. So as you can see, we have our information. The blue for the light blue for female adults. That's what I'm talking about. The dark blue for adult male, and the orange for children who are going to fetch water. So let's try to get some. We have seen that Saturday has the most queue, right? So the question that I should intrigue is it who is going to fetch water? And is it the children or the parents? So let's click on Saturday first. So we've seen that on this Saturday, right, we have more female fetching water, I think, compared to male. Did you see? Why children fetch less? In fact, generally children fetch less water, right? But if you consider every other gender, the other genders, male and female are the ones mostly going to fetch water, except Sunday, except Saturday and Sunday. Actually, did you see them? Where we have almost equal number of male and female adults fetching water. On let's enter Sunday and see what is happening. This Sunday, right? Did you see? Oh, and there's less queue on Sunday anyway. But most queues happens around 19 as well. Okay, so if you want to fetch water in this particular country, you might need to just budget Sunday, right? So you can on your own you do those tasks and you get more insight about the data sets, right? So the next thing we want to plot is I want to create a scatter plot. What is scatter plot is for? It's used to show a relationship between two data. So we want to see whether the number of people served, right, um, correlates with the average number of time. Maybe the higher the number of people served, then the more time in queue. So let's try to. Don't forget that the person who collected this data repeated a particular site several times. So we have redundancy. So to do that, we're going to go and pick scatter plot on our visualization pane. So I'll view where's my scatter plot again. Here is it, scatter plot. Must I select? So my columns, what are the columns again I need? Number of people served. So I'll just look for number of people served. That's the total population. I'll put that on my X. So in this case, um, let me just put, okay, now, so far we have been summarizing our data, but you can also put it as, since you want to build scatter plot, you don't have to summarize, you don't have to find average, because average will give us just one data point. You don't have to find sum, because you just give us one data. So you just have to click on don't summarize, right? So let it not summarize the data. So then on our y-axis, I'll pick time in queue. So where's my time in queue? I'll put it. So here I'll put on don't summarize too. And we have this. You can see it is highly correlated as we have here. So I don't know if there's question, but we want to just do some cleanup, then we round up. I think we still have more visualization to do though. Okay, there isn't any. Okay. When next we meet, though we are not done with this class, we're going to now see in that particular country, there's also crime rates, right? Because there's scarcity of water. Most people use for my analysis so far, most people use river water more than every other water. That is what they were trying to solve and how they can actually offer solution to this. So let's try to round up, clean up our headings and move on. If you look at each chart, they are not meaningful. Look at the name of average of time in queue of this, blah, blah, blah. It's not meaningful. So we can correct that. So to correct that, you can, let me click on this and go to my format your visual on my visualization pane. So what I will just do, I can click on general, right? As I click on general, I'll go to the title. I will rename the title. Let me say, let me name it to average time per week. Average time per week, right? Let's spell that properly. So as you can see, it is there already. I want to position it at the center. So I just put alignment. I want it at the center. Let me put it in different color that will be more bold. Let me put it in I usually like something attractive when I'm using. It's not that bold enough. Okay, let me choose red. All right, that's that. So subtitle, I don't need subtitle there. All right, that's for my X. For my title, for my Y-axis, you can see it says average time in queue. So let me just change it to time in queue instead of that long title. So I'll go to my visual, now I've left general. So my X-axis, sorry, my Y-axis, I'm on my Y-axis now. So I'll change the text. Oh, it's talking about skill. So I'll change the text. It says auto, I'll change it to timing, average time in queue, AVG time in queue, QU. I don't know if I got that right. QUEUE, right? So got that's double E there. So I want it in the same color as the what I chose before for the. So that is for that. So you can see my x-axis and title are well labeled. So let me go and set for my y-axis now. So to set for my y-axis, I mean for my x-axis, my apologies. You can change the font. So you can do so many things. You can increase the size. You can do as much as you want there. On your own, you can explore this. Things you can know. Let me change the title. It was also, let me turn it to days of the week. Days of the week. Right. I prefer that same font color for her. So that is that. Now we've done for this. You can do the same thing for look at this what's it called? The title here is I can see it's not meaningful too. All right. I can just change this as to vitamin Q by hour of day. Let me just say time in Q per day. Time in Q, Q-U-E-U-E per day. I change the font, and that's set. Notice that this one will change now. So I this legend, I don't really like the way it is. Why is it not changing? Oh, I changed the y axis. Let me go to my title. So the title is the general. Alright, so let me just change the title. Again, this title here, title. Okay, so let's say time in Q-U-E per what again? Per day. Per day. So you can just continue to do most of all this. It's very intuitive, right? Power BI is something that is very easy to do, right? So just change this. You can add some other things like, for instance, now these days of the week, every time you can add a benchmark. Let's say you want to show the average time in queue for every week. So to do that, let me go back here. So just go to add further analysis after visualizing your pane. If I click this, so I can just say the average, a line, right? Add a percentage line. So to do that, I can just put this as average time in queue, average. Oh, why is it not typing? So average time in queue. Now you notice a line. Let me apply that so you can see. I is not showing. Because this is not the way I want to put it anyway. I wanted to put it here, but I plotted it on the wrong thing. So let's go to add further analysis. What is this add further analysis useful for? I want to show a particular line that is generic. Let's say for every throughout the whole week, what is the average time in queue for from Saturday to Sunday? So I can add a kind of line. Maybe I can choose the average. I can use median. You can use percentile line. Anyhow you want. Right, so I prefer to use average line, so I'll just call it time in queue, average time in queue. Why is it not changing? AVERAGETIME in queue, right? Boom. So you can see this line showing. You can see this line showing here. That this shows that for that particular week, the average time in queue is about around 90 maybe 98 or 97, thereabout. This is the line. So that's just simple analysis with this. So from this is, and many of you will like, where is the dashboard? This is a dashboard, but all you need to do is to organize your your data and make sure it is well formatted. You can add many more things. We try to convert one to a dashboard and see later on. So I'd like to round up the class here. If there's no question, if there's question, feel free to, let's use the remaining 2 minutes to answer the question. What I say, I think I answered what file I need to download the other time. I don't know if you got that.
Yes, sir, I got it, sir.
All right. Question. Does anyone have question? Okay. If there isn't, let's call it a day. Wait next week. By now we should be done with Power BI in a way, but the way things went, and not God, it went the way it went.
Sir, I have one question, sir.
Go ahead.
This bar column chart that you did, that the females, how do we analyze this one now? You said on Saturday and Sunday.
This one?
Yes, sir. The one, yes, sir.
Okay, you can dive deep into each. For instance, now I might want to see more what is happening on Saturday and Sunday. We've discovered that most kills happen on Saturday, right? If I click on this now, you can see this on Saturday. Percentage number of children. I did not show me percentage. Should have given me percentage. Okay, some of percentage, probably we use some. Let's use average, please. I don't like that sum that I have in there. So best thing to use is average percentage. Come here again, change it to average. Come here again, change it to average. Good. So now you can see it went very high this time around. So you can see that the average percentage is about of children on Saturday is just about 10.54. Why for male is about 39.82. So about 40% of females are on, or male rather, are on Q. Why for female, we have 49%. So you can even see the gender disparity because mostly I don't know why maybe males don't fetch water. You can see for each week. Let's see Sunday now. Did you see Sunday? We have more female here. You can see, and look at the time in queue, how it goes up around 19 p.m. So mostly female are the ones always on the tab. So that is just one of the analysis you can bring out from that. And if you still had maybe want to see per each what's it called? Look for what's it called? Province. You want to see females per province. That is how they vary in each province. There's a particular column that has province there. You can just plot it beside it and see what is happening in each province on each day and how does it affect male and female or the children. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
sir. Yes, sir. What of the scatter plot, sir? You said correlation. If it is going up, it is positive correlation. If it is straight, it is constant correlation. If it is coming down, it is negative correlation. So this one now,
exactly.
This scatter plot now is a positive correlation between
number of people served and the timing. So which means the higher the number of people in that community, the higher they will, the more time they spend in queue. Do you understand? So it is going accordingly. You add more people to that community, then they will spend, which is by intuitively said, it is correct, isn't it? So that's just it. That's just it. What we brought out from this chat.
Sir, please, can there be more than two datas in one scatter plot? Or is it just to compare between two things?
Yes, we can, but in this case here, it is not easy to show 3-dimension scatter plot. right? It's not easy unless you want to. Even though it is easy, it is hard to read. But I can do that with Python anyway. But Power BI, I have not seen such feature in Power BI where you can do 3D. For instance, location, latitude and longitude, then another location. Do you understand? Or maybe let's say
Yes, sir.
we want to see the time in queue according to geographical area. Geographical area has two components, latitude and long X and Y, right? Then our third should be let's say the time in queue. Yes, but the one difficulty in using 3D chart is that it's difficult sometimes to read. Once you now get to 4D, in fact, I doubt people use 4D. In realistic, you won't want to plot that. But people use 3 dimension for such three type of data. Right. You'll answer that.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. All right, so let's meet. I would like us to complete that note. I'm not sending any further unless you want to do DAX. DAX is we can't take DAX in 1 week. Right. DAX is also part of Power BI. We can't take it in 1 week. And to take a lot of questions, some people don't understand more programmatic, more programming. Do you get that? You can read on DAX and no. But for now, for this particular bootcamp, it's not part of the target. Can't do it in a week. Do you understand? But I can send a video or just a note. I'm not going to explain it. All right, there's no time. So see you guys next week.
Sir, what of are we starting Python next week, sir? We are done with Power BI this week. We are starting Python next week, or we will continue Python Power BI.
We should. Since I've explained how to correct the heading, the rest. Anybody can go through the note I sent and then read through or watch this video to get it more. I don't want to go back to Power BI yet, so we start Python from next week.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right. Have a lovely weekend.